y'all. I hope everybody is doing good. We have a snowstorm right now, so I'm gonna be back here for several days, not going anywhere. But anyways, I was just gonna hop on here and tell y'all a few things. I actually had something happen yesterday. We have an outside cat. And, because of all the rain and stuff that we've been having, it's been cold. We've been letting him stay in the shop. So I went down there yesterday evening about 5 o'clock and, was going to check on him, check his water and food and everything. And he's actually liking it in there. So anyways, as I came out, I noticed that our central heat and air unit, it sounded like it was making a funny noise. So I thought I'm going to walk up there and see if there's like something in there. So as I was coming up beside the house, all of a sudden I hear a yell. And that's the only way I can describe it, is a yell. It wasn't a howl. It was a yell, but this was not a human. And it came from the hill. Like if you're standing in front of our house, it would be at your 2 o'clock is where this hill would be. And that's where it came from. And there is nobody over there. So, and there is no way this was human. I could even hear it over the sound of the unit. So needless to say, I stopped, I turned around, I looked in that direction, and I just marched myself right back into my house. But anyways, I don't know. It was just weird. And I wish I could describe, how this sounded, but it was weird, but it was loud. But anyways, and I also have 2 more stories that I'm going to share with you. And it was things that happened to me when I was younger, like, a kid, teenager. That's possibly Sasquatch related, especially one of them. But as I tell the story, I'm going to film the snow, give y'all something to look at. So I'm going to quit talking and let y'all hear these stories. Okay, well, as you can see, it's starting to snow. And that hill that I was talking about that I heard the yell come from is that one over there. But anyways, I was going to share with y'all a couple of things that happened to me when I was a little girl. The first one, I was about 6 years old. And also, I had 5 brothers, no sisters, and I was the baby. And the youngest brother, he was 6 years older than me. And, we done everything together. Anyways, we lived out in the middle of nowhere, like I do here. And from here, and these 2 stories I'm going to tell you all happened within probably a 10-mile radius of where I'm at right now. So, anyways, I was about 6 years old, so that would have made him about 12. And, when we used to go out, we lived out in the middle of nowhere, in the hills. There was actually a nice lake beside the house. And my brother and I, we used to go outside all the time. We'd take our BB guns and we'd just go, exploring. We'd go down by the lake. And I think about, as a parent now, there ain't no way I'd let my kids at that age out doing that. But I guess things are different. But anyways, and we had, been all over the place out there. And this one particular day, and, we wasn't that far from the house, and we was just out exploring. And the best of my memory, I'm thinking it was probably cooler weather, because I don't remember leaves on the trees. I remember where we was at, I think people had been in there and had cut some trees because it was kind of open. Seems like I can remember seeing some downed trees. And we was, walking around through that, and there was a lot of tall grass, but it was, dead grass. So that's why I'm thinking it was probably in the winter. But anyways, all of a sudden, I stopped and my brother stopped. He was just a few feet in front of me. And I was looking around, I just got this feeling of being watched, and the feeling that we needed to get out of there. And so I turned to my brother and I said, I'm ready to go. And he said, yeah, so am I. And I don't know if he had the same feeling or not. I didn't ask him. But anyways, we got out of there and, walked back up towards the house. Now I didn't see or hear anything. It was just a feeling. But it's the same feeling that I get out here, And, but the second story, I was probably around 15. And what made my brother around 21. And like I said, we lived out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by trees and hills. And we actually had a creek that ran through our front yard, like we do here. And I'm thinking it was probably spring, because there wasn't a lot of greenery, the best that I can remember, on the trees. But it was warm enough, that we went down to the creek and was messing around the creek. And then we heard something, and I remember we looked up, and there was this black bipedal something. To me, it looked like it had maybe was in a squatting position and had stood up and turned, because when I seen it, it already had its back to us, solid black, and it was about the size of an average man, maybe around 6 foot, and it wasn't big and bulky, but it was solid black. And I can even remember seeing the hands. And it had hands, and they were black. And it turned and ran up this hill. And when I say hill, it was a big hill. And I remember I asked my brother, I said, what was that? And he said, I don't know. I said, well, it was on 2 legs running up the hill. And he started joking around with me, and he was saying, oh, maybe it was a neighbor boy down here spying on you. And it wasn't the neighbor boy. It wasn't even built like the neighbor boy. But, and it would have been too hot for anybody to have on that much stuff, I can't say that I saw hair. I didn't see any hair. I just seen something bipedal with hands. I seen the back of the head. And, there wasn't like a dividing lines, like a black hat with, it was, to me, now that I think about it, it would remind you of a Sasquatch. But I didn't even think about it at the time. It never even dawned on me. We just didn't know what it was. In fact, I think we kind of thought, well, maybe it was a bear. And I said, well, do bear run on, its back legs? Which the legs were too long to be a bear. But, we're just going over this stuff in our mind. And, and the way I remembered this was one of Paul's friends one day, he knows, he believes in Bigfoot, and he, knows about my encounter. And he said to me one day, he said, well, I can't imagine, he said, I can't believe that you didn't see something out there where you used to live. And, before you and Paul got married. And I said, yeah, I said, that'd been a good place for one. And it didn't even hit me then. It didn't hit me till, I think, later on that night. And I was thinking about what he said. And that memory came back. And I thought, well, I wonder if that was a Bigfoot. Because it definitely did not look like a person. But anyways, and my brother, he was with me on, both of those. But, he was killed back in 94. So, I can't ask him anything about what he remembers or anything. But that's the best, of my memory, how I remember it. But But anyways, I just wanted to share that with y'all. I hope you enjoyed the stories. Anyways, I'm going to get off of here. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Please be safe. Be careful. Love y'all. And God bless.